What is up, everybody? Welcome to Ride Review. My name is Tyson, and today I am showing you the LyteCycle from OKAI. Now, this is my first time being on an e-bike from OKAI. I've ridden a lot of their scooters. First time to actually, really get to spend some time with one of their electric bikes. It's been a pretty positive experience so far. So, without further ado, check it out. This is the LyteCycle. This is a city bike. It is sleek. It is efficient. I mean, look at how cleanly integrated the electronics are. Battery in the down tube right here. Merges in nicely, and the cabling up front is nicely managed with these wraps. Very clean cockpit too. Check this out. There's not very much in the way of display controls, whatever. The display is actually right down here on the top of the top of the stem, which I like because it's more protected here. When you have a display that's up on the handlebars, more prone to damage. It sticks out and gets snagged on things at a bike rack, or if you have to load the bike into your car. And then this also helps it to be more stealthy. If you just walking by this bike in the street, then you probably would not guess that it's an electric bike without close inspection, maybe knowing what you're looking for. This can help to reduce the risk of theft, since e-bikes do tend to be a bit higher priced and more targeted by thieves because of that. So this is designed for city use. You'll notice that it does not have any suspension on it in the front or in the rear. If suspension matters to you, you could put in a suspension seat post, stick something in here to help smooth out the ride. But if you're riding on relatively smooth city streets, then you don't really need suspension. I mean, you have some decently sized tires here, nice big diameter, so they have a good rolling, they have good attack angle, rolling efficiency. They can roll over obstacles, decent volume of air in there. Now, of course, if you live in some place that has really rough roads, I don't know, maybe even like cobblestones, if you're over in Europe, or you're wanting to do some kind of adventuring out on the trails, might not be such a good fit. This is really intended to stick to city streets. It does come with a pretty minimalist setup out of the box, so you'll also notice, we don't have any fenders, we don't have a rear rack or a front basket, but you can add those. They have provisions for those. So these are, they call these bosses or mount points. So you could mount a rear rack back here, you could mount rear fenders, you've got the pass through up here so that you could put front fenders in here. They have the side bosses here so that you can do a front basket. Now, OKAI, of course, does sell accessories for this if you want to kit it out when you buy it, but these are pretty standard as far as the mount points go. So if you want to use your own, get some at a local shop, you have that option available to you as well. You do get some integrated lighting, which is pretty well done. You've got this light bar on the front right here. That's kind of an always on thing. You can turn it off if you want, but the idea is safety, visibility, so you should probably leave that on. There's a front headlight as well. There is a rear light, but it's not integrated. It's really bright, actually. It works pretty well. It's got this button on the top that you can push to turn it on and off, and it does have a charging port on the bottom, and it is USB-C, so it's easier to recharge. The downside of these independent lights, you got to remember to turn it on and then off. It's easy to forget that it's on, and then you come back later and it's dead. The one thing I don't like about this is you need a tool, you need a screwdriver to actually remove it from the bike to, if you wanted to bring the light in and charge it. So that's kind of annoying. You have to park it nearby where you want to charge if you don't want to deal with the hassle of popping it off the bike. But a rear light is better than no rear light, especially one that is pretty visible. I do want to note also, since we're looking at the saddle area here, you do need an Allen wrench to adjust the saddle height up and down. It is not quick release adjustable, which can be a bummer if you are sharing this bike among multiple people and have to adjust it frequently. But if it's just you riding it, you're only going to really do that once. And this goes up pretty high too. I don't even have the saddle at the maximum height. And this was, felt pretty comfortable for me. I'm very tall, 6 feet 3 inches or 190 centimeters. And so I feel pretty good on this bike. I think it's set up so that it could fit really a wide range of riders, especially because you've got this step-through frame, very approachable, low standover height. Okay, we're going to round out just kind of the rest of the bicycle components on here before we dive into the electronics, which are really the highlight, I think, is the electronics. But anyways, we've got hydraulic disc brakes, 160 millimeter rotors, front and rear. Hydraulic brakes are very easy to actuate and require less maintenance than mechanical brakes, so great choice there. And all you need on a bike like this is 160 millimeter rotors, which we've got on both the front and in the rear here. This is a class 2 electric bike, which means it has a top speed of 20 miles per hour or 32 kilometers per hour. And so, and it's pretty light too. I weighed it on my scale just this morning at 52.88 pounds. So that is sufficient stopping power for the kind of riding you'll be doing. And I like that it weighs that light. That's reasonably light for an electric bike. So if you do have to carry it up the stairs, throw it in your car, it's doable. You can manage. We've got a fairly basic pedaling drivetrain, but again, it's for the city use. Like this is what you need. So we've got the Shimano tourney, entry-level stuff from Shimano, and we've got a basic freewheel setup back here. So this is a pretty small, 12 to 28 tooth range, not as durable as a cassette, but for when you look at the chainring up here, this is pretty small. I'm not sure, I want to guess that it's probably like 38 teeth, maybe 40, 42, a little bit on the small side. So this kind of optimizes the pedaling drivetrain towards the lower end of the spectrum. So when you're all the way down in first gear, you have a brisk cadence, you can do some hill climbing pretty well, and then you have enough top end to get up to 20 miles per hour, and you can pedal a little bit past that, but it's not designed to be a speed demon. This is an efficient city bike. And speaking of efficiency, let's talk about the electronics. Again, I love how cleanly they are integrated. Like it's so sleek, it's so polished, really refined job from OKAI. Battery in the down tube right here, and then the motor back here in the rear wheel. This is what you call a rear hub motor. And this is a power sipper. This is a 350 watt motor, 55 Newton meters of torque. So you're not gonna be screaming around on just the throttle. You can use just the throttle, it'll get you up to 20 pretty handily. But this is a bike that prioritizes efficiency over raw power. It rides really well, just kind of like the, I don't know what you call, like the classic cycling experience. Very polished on here, thanks to the efficiency of the motor and the torque sensor. So it is housed away in the bottom bracket down here. If you're not familiar with how the different sensors for e-bikes work, torque sensors measure the pressure that you put on the pedals. They're very responsive, very dynamic, has a very classic cycling feel to it. By contrast, some bikes have what's called a cadence sensor, which typically found on cheaper bikes, and those rather than measuring pressure, they measure just if the pedals are cycling. It's kind of like an on-off switch. It's either you're getting assist or you're not, and then you can kind of control the level by adjusting the controls on the display, but it's not very dynamic and responsive. Some people do like cadence sensors better. I've always liked torque better, and I think most people do as well. So I love that OKAI threw that on here. It really heightens the just the entire experience of riding this bike. Okay, so the electronics, like I said, they're very cleanly integrated, kind of minimalist. Here's your display. There's one button for controlling things, but there does not seem to be any way to power on the bike without using either the app or the 2 NFC keys that came along with it. Kind of a sidebar note for this, I think that OKAI does sell direct to consumer, and they work with dealers, and I think they kind of prioritize the dealer model. Maybe it's just because this bike is kind of new too, but like it didn't have any instruction manual when I got it. They have a really nice app but it didn't have a manual there. There's not one on the website, so that could be just from it being a new bike, but I think they might also be kind of elevating the dealer way of buying these bikes. You can go in, you can get a test ride, you can get fitted. Definitely the way to do it. Check out their dealer map if you want to see if there is one near you. Anyways, back to the control system here. Now you get these 2 NFC keys that come along with it here when you set up your bike. The 2 actual keys, this is for removing the battery, but these ones will turn the bike on. So all you do is just stick it on there and kapow, there you go. Now it's not, it could be brighter. I guess we could just say it that way. We're in shade right now and the clouds are overcast here, so we can actually see it on the camera, which is nice for a change. But when it's really bright out, it might be a little bit difficult. Now, you use this single button here to interact with it. Short presses will turn on the lights, so like you can see they're off right now, and I hit it again, it'll show that they're on. And by lights, it's really just the one in the headlight. Because if we come back up here and turn the headlight off, this light bar is still going to stay on, which again, I recommend that you leave it on because it just helps to make you a little bit more visible, and that's not putting very much drain onto the battery. And then you can short press your one button here to change your assist level. So you can see mine in the center there is 0. Double tap it, and you can go up to 1, 2, 3. Double tap again, and go back to off. So it's nice, it's simple. You get full throttle in any assist level, right? So you have to at least be in 1, right? It doesn't work at 0, but when you're in assist level 1, then you can hit the throttle, and then you get full power, so you can get up to 20 miles per hour, which is the top speed for the throttle. So that's, again, a really nice way to do it. There's some companies that have the throttle and pedal assist levels linked, and so if you're in assist level 1, the throttle is just kind of anemic and doesn't get you very fast. This is a much better way because, especially on a torque sensor bike, the throttle, this is your power override, right? You're cruising along in level 1 and you suddenly need a burst of speed to pass somebody or something, just hit the throttle, don't have to fuss around with the buttons. All right, now this, once the display's on, there doesn't seem to be any way to turn it off, again, without using the key or the app. You just, stick this back on there, and boom, there it goes. And then you can do it in the app too. I'll show you that in just a minute. Now, this is like it's very nice, easy to use, elegant system. But of course, it does mean, don't lose your keys, don't lose your phone, because that's your way to control the bike. There might be a way to control it outside of those two, but like I said, without the manual and also, goofing around with it, I didn't find a way. So just keep that in mind. It's between 2 keys and a phone, not too much of a challenge. Let me pull out my phone now here so I can show you the OKAI app. This was very easy to just get it set up and get going. 98% on the battery there. It's showing it's not connected. Let's see. I gotta remember this was actually giving me some fuss the other day trying to reconnect it. There we go. Boom, we're connected. You can see your carbon emissions over the, I guess, lifetime of the bike. I'm not sure. It says I have 3 kilograms on it already, 47 miles ridden, which I don't know about the math on that, but that's kind of cool. They can show you some of these metrics in here. So you can come in here and you can change the lighting style of your little, your bar up on the front right here. So we could switch it over to, I think, oh, we're powered off. How'd that happen? Let's come back over here and see how it says locked. So we'll say unlock. Boom, there you go. Okay, now our light bar is back on, so we can come in safety lighting, and then we can put it on to breathe, a little bit different pattern. I've got the blink, which I don't know, is a little obnoxious. I've just been leaving on Meteor because I think it looks kind of cool. And check this out. You wanna play with your colors? You wanna get creative? Boom. Let's do it. We can go for like a purple. Let's say apply. And then boom, there you go. So you can go crazy with it. I've just kind of left it on white because it's this is going to be the most visible, but during the day anyways. When you're riding at night, maybe you want to mess around with that a bit. Let's see, what else what else can I show you in there's a lot you can do in the app. You can come in here and change your ride mode. This is the same as pushing the buttons, or the single button right up here that changes your assist level. You can instead do it in here, which could be nice. Get a handlebar mount, have your phone right here. It's kind of like a secondary display, so you can very quickly switch between them. You can come in here. I think this is just changing the, oh yeah, so this is the display. You can actually change it. So you can have this sport mode one, and then there's this minimalist one which comes on the bike. I've had it on the technology one just because I kind of like the look of that. That's pretty cool. Little high-tech vibes. You can come in here to the settings. You can pair an additional NFC key. You can change your units. You can update the firmware, which I did when I got it, which is awesome to be able to do that. You don't have to take it into a dealer. You can unbind it. There's some other settings in here. Bluetooth, unlock, proximity. Haven't really messed around with that. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it in the app. You can go over to the service tab. There's user guides, but there's nothing in here for this vehicle yet, I think because of how new it is. You can also make requests straight to their support team through the app, so you don't have to try to go through their website, try to figure out like where their correct channels are. So overall, the app's really well done, honestly. For all the e-bike app and scooter apps that I've used, a lot of them are not very polished. This one is, I was able to set it up completely on my own without any user manual or any trouble getting it going. So overall, love the integration of the electronics, how easy it is to use. Only downside is, don't lose your NFC keys and your phone at the same time, because then you will not be able to power on the bike. You could ride it without electric assist. There's no, doesn't seem to have any kind of like GPS tracking or alarm system built in. I don't know if they have those modules, and maybe they're going to enable it in the future, but nothing off the bat. Okay, we are going to take the LyteCycle for a test ride. Now, it does automatically turn off, just while I was switching cameras and getting my helmet and stuff. It did power off on it. I'm not sure what the, probably like 5 minutes or something. So we're just gonna stick that back on there and turn it on. So we are ready to rock and roll. Now, as I mentioned, you do have to have tools to adjust the saddle height. But I've got it, it's not quite maxed, but close enough that I feel like I have a good, I can't quite fully extend my legs, but pretty close. I have a nice kind of forwardish seating position on it here. If you're shorter than me, you will be able to, sit quite a bit more upright. All right, we're going to take it away here. Let's see. I'm all the way up in the 7th gear. I'm gonna shift it all the way down. And actually, before we really do some cruising, I did want to show the difference. It's in the gears on it here when I was talking about how it's geared more for lower speed riding, more for efficiency. So I'm all the way down here in 1st gear. We actually have assist off. We're just riding it like a bike. I'm gonna slow all the way down to a stop here, and then you can see my pretty brisk cadence for going this slow. Like I can take off and pedal it very easily without any electric assist. And it feels just like riding a normal bicycle. Like I don't really even notice that it's a little bit heavier, and I think it's built very well. Like they definitely did a good job with the cycling components on here. You can kick up through the gears a little bit. We're up to 10, 11 miles per hour. I feel like I could pedal this, pedal this home, or even just ride it this way every now and then. If I'm, just want a little bit more exercise, not feeling like I need the electric assist. Okay. Shift it back down. Let's see, we're going to get onto a trail over here. Fort Collins has some amazing cycling trails. Lots of good places to ride. Okay, so we're going to kick up the electric assist here. So that is done using the button right over here on the left. And remember, the short press is your lights, so you have to double tap it. Now we're up to level 1 on the pedal assist. It is a little bit difficult to see the display, if you take a gander down there. Now that we are in bright sunlight, I can just make out my speed on the top, but I can't really see my assist level, unless I kind of cut my hands down in here. My glasses being a little polarized don't help. Anyways, a little tough to see in the sun. Not a big deal because it's very simple, easy to use system. So you can see it's a very stable cockpit too. Like I was saying about let's get up another gear or two. About the build quality of the bike, I love being able to ride no-handed. It's fun, and it's very easy on here. Very stable, and I didn't really feel like I had to, some bikes you kind of have to adjust to it and get a feel to it, and even then it can be a little bit squirrely. So I think they did a pretty solid job on the just overall, on the build quality. The motor is very quiet too, which is something that I appreciate for it. Now, since I only have my mic up here, you can't really hear it, but I barely hear the motor at all in level 1 assist. And even up all the way in level 3, even juicing it on the throttle, just not very much. So it kind of goes along with the rest of the bike, being very stealthy, doesn't stand out as an e-bike, it's not loud, it's not obnoxious. I want to do a little bit of riding just on the pedal assist here and see what kind of speed we can get up to. So we're still in level 1, easiest mode, just giving us a little bit of extra help. I'm gonna start to really pedal here, and I can feel a difference once I start to push harder thanks to that torque sensor. It's nice and responsive. Not all torque sensors are created equally. There's some that honestly don't perform that much better than Cadence, but this one's solid. I think they made a good choice with whatever component they're using. All right, so we're gonna see what we can do in our pedal assist levels. We're still riding in level 1, and so I'm curious just to see, can I get all the way up to 20 with it? And it looks like the answer is yes. I'm not even pedaling all that hard right now, and we're at 16, 17 miles per hour. So if I really start to put in some more juice, 19, and there's 20. So doable even in level 1. We're on flat ground right now. I am definitely getting some exercise doing it in level 1. So let's kick it on up here. We're gonna bump it just all the way up to level 3. We're gonna skip 2. We'll go straight up. I think I got it. A little bit difficult to see. Oh yeah, I can feel a lot more pep. Let me slow down and we'll start from closer to a stop. Even in level 3, the motor does not sound significantly louder at all. I barely hear it. All right, let's Give a little bit of push. I can hear it now when I'm really pushing down. 17, 18, 19, and there's 20. Easier, but I'm definitely still like putting in some effort to maintain this 20 mile per hour cruising speed. I'm actually not all the way up in gear 7 either, I'm just in 6. So I could go one higher. Then here's a look at just my pedal cadence when I'm in the highest gear. Now you could, in theory you could pedal faster than this, but the motor's not gonna help you beyond 20 miles per hour. And it's, this is kind of a lot of work to maintain the cruising speed at 20. Because I can feel the motor, it'll help me, and then I get just past 20 and it stops. And so I kind of have this rubber banding back and forth, and you can hear me starting to breathe harder. So now that I've slowed down to like 18, 19, the motor power is consistent. I'm able to pedal easier. I can do it no-handed now. So maintaining this cruising speed, pretty easy. Still getting some exercise, of course. So if I was feeling really lazy, then we could just use the throttle. So let's give that a try here. We're gonna do this on flat ground, and then we will again do a throttle test once we get got a little bit of a hill that we can climb, just to see what the climbing capabilities are. So from 0, here we go, full throttle. Not, we're cruising 10 miles an hour already. There's 12, 14. We're losing steam now, 16, 17, 18, and there is 20. And actually I'm just gonna hold down the throttle for a minute. We'll just zip on the throttle. So it's, holding steady at 20 miles per hour, which is the legal limit for a class 2 electric bike. There are some out there that will go faster on throttles, but it's really blurring the lines legally, and it's gonna get us all in trouble if people are being too crazy with it. So as much as those fast e-bikes are fun to ride, I really appreciate that companies like OKAI are, paying attention to what the existing laws are, sticking within them, doing it right. And even though there's not any suspension on this bike, it's still a very comfortable ride feeling. Now our streets are, pretty smooth around here, so take that into consideration, but the saddle is comfy, the geometry of the bike is really nice. I actually feel like I fit on this very well. I'm not sure if they have different sizes available. I think it's just one size fits all, but if that's not true, I'll add a little correction here. But yeah, it's, like I was saying earlier, it is a very well-built bicycle. Sure, the electronics matter, but if you slap good electronics on a poor geometry frame or a bicycle with subpar components, the result's not going to be that great. So OKAI's done a really good job here with just how they've manufactured and built this. I love how stable it is. We're cruising, coasting at 25 miles per hour now, not even pedaling down the hill. It's got good rolling efficiency. It's rock solid, stable. Love how it feels. All right, we're gonna do a little hill climbing test here. Not, not super steep. We don't have anything that's really super steep in this town. This one's pretty decent, and we're gonna make it hard by starting out right at the bottom of the hill with the speed completely at 0, and then I'm just going to hit the throttle, see what we can do climbing just on the electric assist. So boom, here we go. Oh, a little bit of a slow start, but we are rolling. We got to 7 miles per hour. We seem to have kind of topped out there. We are making it. All right, we're just about, there's a little hill left. We're over the steep part of it. Now we're picking up some steam again. So we were able to do it, but not with much gusto. Keep in mind, of course, that the battery is completely full right now, which is, that's your best performance. This is true of any electric bike, any vehicle. Full battery, best performance. Just goes downhill from there. Typically, you don't really start to notice it dropping off until you're like under 50%. Kind of depends on the manufacturer and how well they build their batteries. Anyways, all that to say, just kind of reiterating what I said before, this is a power sipping bike. It's not a speed demon. It's not a monster hill climber. to really get good hill climbing efficiency and speed, you're going to need to be pedaling along. But with just how the pedaling drivetrain is set up, it's perfectly geared to do that. Alrighty, my friends. Well, thanks for coming along with me on the ride today. That is the end of the road for this review of the LyteCycle from OKAI. I just wanted to kind of sum up my impression of the bike, my thoughts from getting to spend some time riding it. Overall, I think they've done a fantastic job. It's built very well. It's very sturdy. Just looking at it from as a bicycle, fantastic. And then I think they did a good job with the electronics too. They're extremely well integrated. Like, I love how sleek and clean the bike is. I like that it does not look like an e-bike unless you really look closely, know what you're looking for. I like the minimalist display down here, even if it is a little hard to see in the direct sunlight. Just everything minimalist up here. Simple controls, just a few systems. The torque sensor feels nice to ride on. Overall, they've done really solid. Really, like, the only opportunities for improvement that I've seen on this, it would be nice to have reflective sidewall stripes on the tires. If you look up here, they're completely black, which obviously does look nice with the bike being just all in black if you do go with the black color. But reflective sidewall stripes, very nice for side visibility. And so I hope that they add that. They've already got the light bar up on the front, which adds visibility from the front. It would be nice to have the rear light be integrated into the electronic system so you could control it directly instead of it being, independently powered. What else? I'm really kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. I've got a lot of these small nitpicks for things. Really, I think the biggest thing for consideration for this is how are you going to be riding it? If you're, riding in the city, using it for kind of like a just fun get around bike, commuter, this is going to fit pretty well. The lack of suspension would be the one thing if you have really rough roads or want to ride trails. Maybe not the bike for you. And then think about, do you need accessories? Fenders, you're probably going to need fenders. If you're ever riding in weather or might get caught out in the weather, then you need fenders. So maybe invest in some of those. You can get a rack and a basket, whatever. It's going to be a little bit of an added cost, but when you get such a solid bike to be the base of whatever you add on top of that, it's a pretty solid choice. So anyways, thanks for coming along with me, guys. There's a link in the description of this video that goes out to the full written review over on our website, ridereview.com. Got all the specs, even more details than I shared here. We got some photos, so be sure and check that out. All right, guys, ride safe. Catch you in the next video.